Hello everyone and welcome to the summer workshop. My name is Dave Fehr. I'm a project specialist here at Fehr Yearbooks. In this InDesign session, we're going to go over using styles. And that includes paragraph styles, character styles, and object styles. And using styles in your book will help you to maintain consistency throughout, especially with working with a large editing team. You'll want to make sure that everyone's using the right fonts, using the right styles, and using the right systems in place to make sure that your book is consistent throughout. So without any delay, let's get in design and figure it out. To get started with styles, we're going to try to start with maybe a template or some sort of document that you've created that you're going to be starting with, just so that you can create these styles and start getting them inputted. And after we do all that, we can save it as a template, and then everyone can reuse that template to make sure that the styles and everything is there for everyone to choose. And so we're going to start with the object styles for this session here. And so an object style basically means that if you want to create an effect on an image, whether it's a drop shadow, whether it's a transparency, or anything else like that, you can use the object style to create that and then reapply it to other images without having to redo all the steps in creating it. And so first thing we're going to do is we want to go into and find our object styles panel. And to do that, we can go into the window menu and we go into styles, and you'll see there's an object styles checkbox right there, which tells me that it's open already. So if I go to the right hand side to my panel, I can see that there's my object styles panel. So I'm going to pull this out and just stick it over here for now. You can see now I have some default styles that have already been created with InDesign. So these are the ones that are kind of built in and ready there for me. But I want to create a new one. And so to do that, I'm going to go into the little flyout menu on the side of the panel there. And I'm going to click on a new object style. What you're going to hear is a large window with a lot of different options. And so anything you can apply to an object, so with stroke, fill, drop shadows, anything else you want to create, you can do that here with an object style. And so in this case, I don't want to do too many things to this one, but I'm going to click on to the effects here and go to the drop shadow. I'm going to choose a different setting for my drop shadows. I can choose what direction I want the drop shadow to be. I can pretty much change anything on this drop shadow, and it will apply to those objects after I'm done creating it. And so we have our stroke and fill options, we have corner options, all different things we can do to this particular object to make sure that it's exactly how we want it to be. I can even change my corners to, let's say, have a bevel on all the corners. I'll maybe change this to 1.5 picas. And so after I set that, I can put it in here, put in a name, just type in basic one for now. You can label whatever you want, and then hit OK. And what you'll see in the panel is you'll see that basic one object style that I just created. So now if I were to say click on to any one of the images on the page and say I'm going to click on to the basic one, you can see now that my style that I had, the bevel corners, the drop shadow, all that's been applied to that image automatically. And this can be done with any image you want. You can click on those images, click on the style, and it automatically converts it. So that way you can make sure that your style for your objects, whether it's a certain effect or something you're trying to achieve, will happen the same way every single time. The other way to make an object style is to select a current object where you already have made or created a style for, or that you've added effects to, and then you can create a new style based off of that information. And so here I have a photo here that has some rounded corners and a drop shadow. So I'm going to go into or click on that particular image with my selection tool. Go into the flyout menu, go to new object style. Now if I go to stroke and corner options, you can see now that I already have the rounded corners on there like I do here. The drop shadow has already been applied. So it basically takes all the specifications of that effects that I've applied to that image and automatically puts it into this object style because I selected it first. And now it just copies those information. And now I can rename it, hit save, and then I can go into start using that style. And so here I'm going to go label this one. Call it basic number 2. Hit OK. And so you see there's basic 1 and basic 2. And so now I can go into my other images that I had. I can change to basic 2. And now my image corners, now they rounded and the drop shadow is still there. And so this is how you create that object style, either through creating it from scratch or selecting an object you currently have different effects applied to and creating that object style. And they can be reused whatever you want as many times as you want. The other thing we could do as well is we could say, well, anything with the basic 1 style, I want to now remove and replace it with a different style. And so I no longer need this one. I'm going to go into the little trash can in the corner. And it's going to give me a little delete object style panel coming up here. It tells me what do you want to replace it with. So it's going to ask you if you're deleting it, what do you want to replace that with? So I'm going to change to my basic 2. Hit OK. So now everything that had that basic 1 applied to it has now changed to basic 2. Now that I've deleted it, you can see now those images all look the same with the same rounded corners. And that's how you can get your object styles to apply to your images. This could also apply toward for text frames as well. So if you have a certain effect you created on a text frame, whether it's a drop shadow, transparency, or even a gradient, anything like that, you can create an object style for it. You click on the text box and it will apply that style to that object. The next style we want to go over is using the character style. And so this is very specific to text on your layout. If you want certain text to have a certain type of font and size, any other features you want to apply to that text, we want to create our character style so they can be reused whenever necessary. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to my character style panel. So on the right-hand side of my screen, I can see that I have a character style panel sitting here. Again, if you don't see it right away, you can go to the window menu, go to styles, and you can choose character, and then it will automatically highlight itself when you click on that checkbox there. So you're going to click this character style and just going to move it over here. First thing I'm going to do is go into that flyout menu again on the top right of that panel and go into new character style. So in this window here, we'll have a number of different things we can do. We can label it to whatever we want to label it to. You can change your basic character format. So basically means your font and your sizing, your style, all the different information there. There's a lot of advanced features for scaling, for color, different underlying strike-through options, all these different settings here that can be changed. I'm not going to go too detailed into there, but I'm going to go and change some of this information here. So I'm going to go and try to find a font here. Let's say I'm going to find Arial font. Let's say I'm going to find maybe a 72 size. I can change a bunch of other things if I need to, but I'm not going to at this point. I just want to show you kind of a few different features you can do. And I'm going to change this to a headline. And so this is the headline style that I want to use. So once I have all my information set, I hit OK. Now the way a character style works is when you highlight text with your cursor, it will change whatever style you choose, just the text that is selected. And so for example, if I wanted to change the headline, if I were to just select, let's say half of the word, click on headline, half of the word would change to that character style. In the case I don't want to do that, I want to go into here and I want to change it to all the headline font. And I notice right away that the font is not too large. So the character style that I created is not going to work exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the character style. I'm going to go back into my basic formats. I'm going to change my size down to 60. I can even hit preview on the bottom. So that when I hit preview, you can see exactly what the text is going to look like once it's changed. Then hit OK. So now if I were to go to anywhere else on the page where there's a headline, I can actually highlight it, click on headline, and it will automatically change it to the headline that I want. Another way to create a character style is to use a current style that you're already using on your page, and we're going to highlight it and use that information to create a new character style. And so in this case, we have a subheadline here. So I'm going to highlight that, go into the flyout menu again, go to new character style. When I go into my basic character formats, I can already tell that my information has already been set. It copies the exact information from this text that I have here into the format here. So I don't need to change anything. I have everything I need. All I want to do is relabel it. Once I've labeled it, hit OK to that. And now I have a subheadline character style there that I can use for anything I want on the page. So for example, if I go over to this headline right here, it says sports scores. I'm going to highlight that, click on my subheadline, and now it changes it to the exact subheadline information that I had on the previous one where I created this character style. And so these styles can be used on any single text that you select. So it's very specific. You have to select the font or select the text that you want to change and click on that. And it could be used for headlines. It could be used for, let's say, quotes in your body copy. If you want to italicize or anything like that to those kind of quotes, you highlight it, click on the character style that applies, and you wouldn't have to worry about always remembering what the different font sizes and effects are on that particular text. The third style we want to go over is a paragraph style. And paragraph style works slightly different than an object style, so I'll show you how that works in a second here. So first of all, I want to find my paragraph style panel. I go to the window menu, go to styles. I'll see that there is a paragraph style here, and when I click on that, my panel will show itself on the right-hand side. And now that I have my panel, I'm going to drag it here onto my page. And so it has, again, the basic paragraph style that it comes with InDesign when you it's loaded, it's automatically put into there, so you don't need to use that one. It's just a default that they put into there. And so to create a paragraph style, again, there's two different ways, just like the other character styles and the object styles. One is to go into the flat menu on the side here and go to New Paragraph Style. The New Paragraph Style window, there's much more things you can do to change and to modify this. It has your basic character formats as well. It has your sizing, fonts. It has other character formats. It also has the indents and spacing. And so when you're dealing with paragraphs, you're dealing with a whole paragraph of text, not just certain characters. And so you're able to change your tabs. You're able to change the paragraph rules. There's shading. There's all kinds of options for hyphenation, justification. You can do all kinds of different settings here. I'm not going to go through all of them. That's something that you can do while we're working with it. But I'm going to go into my basic character formats again. I can choose exactly what I want. I can change to a different font. Whatever I want to choose, I'm going to choose a smaller size because this is the body copy or the paragraph style, so I want to use it for body copy. So I'm going to change my font down to 10. And let's see if there's anything else here I want to do. I think I'm going to leave it the way it is. I think I'm just going to leave it just as it is here. So here I'm going to go to the top here, and I'll just say paragraph style 1 is the name I want, and hit OK to that. So now I have a paragraph style. So anything I need to do now is to basically select a character or select some characters to be able to do this with. Now, the difference between a character style and a paragraph style, like I said before, is the character style just does the characters you select. In the paragraph style, it actually changes the entire paragraph. And so, for example, if I were to click into this paragraph of text on the right-hand side of my panel, I'm going to click on the paragraph style, and it changes the whole thing. It's all one big part of the paragraph, so it changes the entire area. You can see the last little bit didn't get changed because it's actually after a hard return. So then it did not consider that part of the paragraph. Now I can click on that as well, and it changes that to the same paragraph style I had before. And so it doesn't just change the individual character, it changes the entire paragraph for what you want to change it to. And again, if you want to create a paragraph style from current text you already have on your page, you go into the text area that you want. I'm going to click on this paragraph in here, go into my flat menu and go to New Paragraph Style. And now you can see that the basic character formats have already been set. Everything's already set to that paragraph that's already there. And so I don't need to change anything. This is the text exactly that I want. I'm just going to label it paragraph style 2. That's what I want. I can label body copy, whatever I want. This case, I'm just going to leave it at paragraph style 2 and hit OK to that. So now I have two different paragraph styles. I'm going to go into my paragraph again on the right-hand side, click on paragraph style 2. Now it changes the format to the paragraph style that I just created. And so what we can do now is we have our character styles, we have our object styles, and we have our paragraph styles all set for this layout. Everything is correct how we want it. We're going to do now, we're going to save this as a template so that way it can be reused by other staff. And so this is the great thing about using styles, is that you create your styles on your template that you start with at the beginning of the year. You'll save that as a template, and then all the staff can now open up that file as a template. They can create all their pages and all the styles will be there, so that way there's no question as to what the font size of the headline is, what style it is. All those settings and everything are in here. You just got to instruct the staff now to use the styles so that everything is consistent throughout your entire book. And so to save this as a template, we're going to go into the File menu, go to a Save As option. And you can choose whatever folder you want. And on the bottom here, you want to change this over here to InDesign Template. And so you can see now it changes it to INDT. And so what that basically means is that anybody who double clicks on this file or tries to open this file, it will not open up the original. It will open up a copy of this file. And that way the original stays the same and does not get modified. And so if you want to keep those settings, you don't want someone to accidentally overwrite them, you want to save it as an InDesign template file. So that way when it's double clicked or opened, it creates a copy of it. And then the staff can start working on that file without worrying about deleting or erasing the original. Once you hit save to that, you're done and ready to go. I hope this session was helpful.